All right. So I did get a note from Alec a little bit ago that he has a conflict today, so Alec will not be joining us. But other than that, it looks like we're pretty good to go here. So welcome everybody to the February 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Technical Advisory Council of the Confidential Computing Consortium. If you're here, it's because you probably already know that we are an open and collaborative organization that is here to help advance confidential computing and hopefully make everybody a little bit more secure. As an open source organization under the Linux Foundation, we also abide by the antitrust policy, and you can check that out on linuxfoundation.org. Thanks to Rian for putting the agenda together for us today. We've got our normal welcomes coming up here. So if you haven't been with us and introduced yourself in more than one or two meetings before, we'll invite you to introduce yourself to everybody coming up here shortly. And then we've got some updates on new members joining the consortium and activity in our pipeline of new projects and some other activities going on with the ecosystem, including kicking off our first session of the kernel SIG. And then we will cap that off with an update on where we are with the budget as we are about 2/3 of the way, I guess, through the first quarter. And that's what we've got scheduled for today. Were there any other topics that people were looking forward to today? Okay, so I don't think we have any votes on the calendar, so we'll just kind of flash by the list of the voting members here. And as promised earlier, we're not going to spend time doing formal roll calls if we don't have to. But now we've got the time here so that if you have not been at a meeting before and you'd like to introduce yourself, we find it's a good way to help the collaboration here because everybody's welcome to contribute to any of the conversations. So just go ahead and pop off mute. Let us know where you're coming from, how to address you, and what your interest in confidential computing is.
I can go first then.
Way to be the brave one. Thank you.
We are new to the community. And privacy innovation. Can you still hear me? Sorry, I think
I missed most of your audio. I don't know if that was just a me thing or if it was others.
No, same here. We couldn't hear you.
Yeah, it broke up.
It almost entirely for your introduction. If you wouldn't mind doing it one more time.
Sure. Thank you all. Sorry about that. So yeah, we were a part of CCC last year. We have been having amazing conversations on how we can participate and represent our project. So I'm very happy to bring with me two of my projects. Our members are not here, so Mingshen and Yao, they are going to be joining us, TAC representatives from TikTok, and we have projects in the privacy innovation space. So we are actually very looking forward to doing more collaborations, and I think CCC is a great foundation that we want to participate and ultimately donate our project this year, hopefully. So that's a little bit about us. So, yeah.
Well, that's great. Love having TikTok here. Love having you here. And could you say your name for me?
Vinny Jaiswal.
Vinny. All right. Nice to have you here, Vinny.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I can go next. My name's Henry. I've been at Meta for the past 3.5 years working on the confidential computing space. I think I saw on the slide that Eric and Shankar are part of the committee as well. But so Shankar is actually my manager, so he told me to show up to these meetings once in a while. So I'll be trying to lurk a bit. Recently, we've been doing some work on AMD SEV SMP virtual machines. Before that, I spent a lot of time working on SGX and working on the tool chain at Meta.
Well, that's a great intro, Henry. Thanks for joining us. And you're welcome to join any of the meetings as often as you can. I know Eric was unable to join recently, and so it's great to have you be able to start joining.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, looking forward to learning about what's going on here.
Excellent. And if you need some bootstrapping on things that have happened while Eric's been out, feel free to ping me either on Slack or email or however we can best get connected there.
Yeah, I'll take a look. I think there's a bunch of meeting videos that I never got around to watching.
Okay, well, we might be able
Go through
to
that.
compress those for you with some conversations too. So
For sure.
don't hesitate to reach out. And recently, I think we, with the help of some of the folks on the call here, got the link to Slack more visible on the webpage. So hopefully everybody can find that now. But if you don't know where that is, people can probably help out in chat here as well. Who else would like to introduce themselves today? Okay, so we'll move on, but if you later realize that you wanted to introduce yourself, feel free to just jump right in. So we just had the TikTok intro, I guess. I don't know if anybody else was planning to say a few words about that, or if we've got that covered now.
We got that covered, Dan. Thank you.
Okay, great. So welcome again to TikTok. And then I don't know who wanted to cover the pipeline, if that's Rian or Ben.
I'm happy to speak to this one.
Okay.
Yeah, so just a congratulations to our 3 fully onboarded projects, Verti, SPDM, RS, and Certifier Framework. Everything is complete with those, so that's great. We've got 2 more that are in progress, Islet and Coconut SVSM. Islet is, I think, just waiting on 1 signature from Linux Foundation before we can start publicizing that, so that's great. And then Coconut SVSM is still in legal review outside of LF, so we're just waiting on that one. Once those are good, we'll do a board vote. I'm expecting that in the next board meeting in March, and yeah, those will be good to go.
Wonderful. Thanks for continuing to shepherd those through. And for people who aren't really familiar with that process, one of the things that Ben got together for us is that project board that you see linked in the lower right corner of the slide. And that helps us kind of track all these stages a project goes through in onboarding. And you know, we didn't really have that well defined before, and I think that's going to be a smoother process. And I just want to point that out because it's also one of these steps in our organization maturing more and getting to be able to, I don't know, incorporate more ideas more quickly in the sense of getting our projects integrated better.
And I can also speak to this one. We're starting to schedule out some of the annual reviews. So we've got a couple dates penciled in here for Enarx, OE, Keystone, and Oclam. And so I'm working on getting the right folks invited to those meetings, but those dates are penciled in as of now.
Thanks for tracking those down.
Yeah.
So this is another thing Ben's done for us, is comb through the commit log of meeting minutes, because we'd started to lose track of all these and figured out who we haven't heard from in a while. one of the things that we want to do when we have these projects come in and give an update is make sure that as the technical committee for the consortium, that we're staying integrated with the projects and aware of things that they have that are challenges and maybe discoveries that they've made as they've been progressing their own projects. So it looks like Keystone then is the next one that we'll have coming up. And that should be what, next meeting then? Yeah.
Yep. Okay,
great. And then we've also had the SIGs come to check in periodically, and it looks like we're just about due to have the attestation SIG come in. And then Mark gives really more than annual updates with the GRC SIG. So I think we're pretty well connected there as well. And then looks like we have to get all the new projects slotted in for their initial updates.
Yeah, Dan, question for you on the new ones. Do we do those pretty close to them being onboarded, or do we want to wait a year post them onboarding? What's the general approach there?
So I think we actually did wait a year for the original set. I think it might be worthwhile to do it sort of in like the 9-month time frame, so we don't need to wait a complete year. But since we did just hear presentations from each of them in order to get them onboarded, yeah, we don't need to do one right away for them.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and maybe we can also think if we have a lot of these sort of front loaded during the first quarter of the year, if we can kind of space them out through the year by getting them slotted in as they get joined here, that would be good too. All right, moving right along here. So there was a request last session to get a glossary together. The request was from one of the other external communities that we've been engaging with from the GRC SIG. So that's, for those who are new here, that's the governance, risk, and compliance team that we have that is looking at how we get confidential computing better recognized in compliance documentation and better recognized kind of throughout the rest of the world that isn't in the CCC. And I don't know if somebody has an update on where we are with this glossary right now.
I'll give a quick update. So the .io website is not active yet. We are still waiting on internal consensus. But currently, if you go to the GitHub page, you can see a matrix of definitions, those of which are sort of overbroad and those of which are specific, because we're hoping to identify what terms do we need to put additional information around. So if you go into the term specification matrix, that's where right now you can see any of the definitions that are CCC already pretty specific or that have other definitions and where they're coming from. So this is for us to really confirm the ground of truth before we put it on the website. But for now, this is a reasonable reference for anyone to use as we're sort of collecting these thoughts. And the contributing process is fully set up. Absolutely anyone is welcome to submit any new terminology you think is missing or any suggestions for any of these terms along the way.
Fantastic. So maybe sort of in the sense of a good first issue for people who are on the meeting right now, that you know, come bring some of your expertise here by helping fill in this set of terms. I think one of the things that we wanted to do with this glossary is just kind of have a short list. So as people were getting engaged from other organizations, having something that doesn't need to be overly long or overly technical, but they see a new term and they can have maybe just a concise definition of what that is. So this is the the thumbnail version of content that we might more completely specify in a larger document. All right, thanks, Sal. the slide changed since we flipped away from it. Mentoring progress. So was that a reference to the internship processes?
Yeah, I can take this, or Rian, do you want to take it? I'll have to make a quick note on this. So we are borrowing from, so we've had some mentors come through the CCC, and I've been able to get post interviews and some good blogs out of them. We also have a lot of like master's and PhD students who are engaging in this space, and so I've reached out to them for some of their context on what resources we could provide to make it a really good onboarding experience for them, meaning we can get some excellent mentees. So to go along with that, we are setting up a GitHub repository, much in the CNCF style, but much slimmed down, which makes a very clear and easy process to show mentors how to set up a suggested project and scope, to give a couple of resources to mentors and mentees, and to give us a public record of what kind of projects worked really well.
Great. Rian, did you have more to add to that?
Yeah, the beautiful thing about the process that the CNCF suggested the last time is it becomes a pull system where we first talk to the project. They come up with a problem statement of something that they want solved, and then we advertise a skill set that tick the box of what the project needs. So it's actually supporting the project, not putting a burden on them that they have to mentor somebody with a skill set that doesn't match their problem. So I think it's going to be very helpful. And Sol and I discussed that if we can get 3 or 4 projects on board for this year, it would definitely be already a win.
Yeah, that would be a huge win over previous years where it was primarily Enarcs that had been volunteering their time for bringing on interns.
Yeah, and the key thing is we want it should do work for the project and not make work for the project. That's a key thing, and both parties walk away better afterwards.
Excellent. And Lily, I don't think this is necessarily what you were working on, but I know that you two work hand in hand on a lot of this. Is there anything that is in progress right now, as far as what Rian just mentioned about engaging directly with the projects to solicit those ideas?
Yeah, so by the end of next week, we're going to have the process available on GitHub, and then we are going to contact them directly with some examples of projects that would work well. So we really want them to go up to that 3 or 4 month deadline.
Okay. And Lily was saying over chats that her mic isn't working, but this is really more Yash's signed up for the year on this.
And then also to that point, something that I had some further discussions with Nate. The idea is from the CNCF side that there is 3 cycles for the year of 3 months each, and it's got very specific starting time. So I checked with him and said it is not a rule. It's something that they put in place for better organization of themselves because they have as much as 80 mentors at a time. So we could ad hoc across the year actually start a project whenever we're ready. 3 months is a recommended time. If we need to make it 4 or need to make it 2, we can change it. So it is flexible and it's in our hand to work with that.
That's great to have that flexibility. All right, next thing on the list here is the kernel SIG. And Fear, I don't know if you have some things to say on this, or if it's really more been Catalin at Google who's been shepherding.
Right, yeah, it's more Catalin and Steve will be joining the kernel SIG. So nothing to add from my side.
Okay, and I think you two are sort of tag teaming these meetings and attending every other one, from what I can tell.
Oh, correct.
Yeah. Okay. So Catalan, for those who haven't met him, is the other Google rep here, and most of this you should probably be able to see on the mail list. So I guess that's another thing if you're new here. We do have a mail list, and if you're not familiar with that, maybe somebody in chat can help connect you with that. But for most of what we do, it'll either be reflected in these meetings, in the meeting minutes, or it'll be up on the TAC mail list. And what kicks off for the first time in, I don't know, something like 12 hours from now is, maybe 10 hours from now, is the first meeting of this working group on kernel integration. So for most of, for those of us who are producing confidential computing technology, we first need a lot of times to get features into the Linux kernel. And it's quite a bit of work to introduce new functionality there. And what we're trying to do is streamline that by making sure that we've got people talking from all the companies, so we kind of understand things a little quicker than what could happen just if we leave it to the Linux kernel mail list to sort things out. So logistics for that, I believe, have been posted on the mail list. Thanks to Rian for reflecting that out there. And so looking forward to seeing people during my nighttime, but maybe your early morning to go through that. And then I see that there is a call for project demos at RSA. I don't know who is planning to speak to this one.
I can make a quick call out for that. So we have a large booth at RSA, and many of our members will also be there. I think this is an incredible opportunity to get some demos together, and we have an entire outreach segment dedicated to this and trying to pull them together. So this is just another call out. If you have a good demo coming up, please do contact me. If you'd like to be putting one together, get in touch with me.
Great. Thanks, Al. So a lot of our sorry, I'm very jet lagged, and the words aren't coming as easily as they normally do. Conference, that's the word I was looking for. A lot of our conference organization goes through outreach. So our colleagues there, including Kate George and others, have put together a schedule for things that the CCC is officially supporting. And some of our colleagues here will be participating at these conferences at, in some cases, a CCC booth, and be able to help ramp people that come through the conference into our sphere. I think Pawan is on as well, and I don't know, Pawan, if you've got, I think that you had a separate announcement to make from outreach, but you can maybe dovetail that into this conference material.
Yep, thanks, Dan. So this is more immediate, I guess, because we have that opportunity. And thanks, Sal, for bringing this up. But in general, I want to curate a list of demos or even guides, right, on getting started with these our different projects to be compiled in a location that is easily accessible. I was planning to send an email to. I was given an email alias that has all our leads from projects. So I was planning to send a note to them to sort of kickstart that process. But yeah, this could be a more immediate ask because we have that boot space at RSA.
Okay, so I guess as long as we're all meeting live right now, for those of you who have projects that are part of the consortium and you want to get those highlighted, sounds like we got what is pretty expensive booth space at RSA. So if you've got anything that you want to kind of throw on the table right now while we're live, feel free to jump in with that. Otherwise, there is a short thread for this on Slack right now, and of course the mailing lists. I think either to outreach or to the TAC list. Most people are subscribed to both. Well, continuing to fly through the agenda then. We've got the budget slide here from Ben. Take it away, Ben.
So yeah, this will be a regular feature of the TAC meeting. So every month we'll provide an update on the discretionary budget. And not much has happened since we haven't actually received our January budget yet. But at least we can outline kind of where we are and what discretionary budget the TAC has. So we've got 4 main buckets: travel, test infrastructure, IT services and collab tools, and money in support of the internship program. So travel, this is allocated around $8.5K per project. That can fluctuate a little bit as new projects come in, obviously. Same thing for test infrastructure, about $8.5K per project. IT services and collab tools, a little less, about 1.4K per project. And then the internships program. So I know that at least some money will be going from the test infrastructure category for a Grameen website redesign, which was I think maybe approved last year, but stalled. But we're reigniting that project, so that's in progress. And then just a note here that there was one internship that had happened, and so there's a payment amount that's allocated to that already.
Great.
But yeah, we have additional breakdowns of this, obviously, like a line by line. We track every invoice, so if anytime anyone is interested in understanding more details, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to review that one-on-one.
Great. And I think Verizon, for example, has made good use of the travel budget in the past. This is just a reminder to everybody that one of the things that we have with the consortium is resources to help the projects. And it's always kind of hard to figure out what we can do to help with money, because it's not ever enough money that we can go pay for a developer, but it's enough money that we think that we can make things easier in certain places, like the testing, helping getting people out to conferences to help promote the projects, things like that. So if we flip back for a moment to the slide where we're tracking when we have project updates, we also have this column here for the TAC mentor. We've got an overloaded use of mentor. Earlier we were talking about mentors from the projects helping to ramp up interns that come from outside the community and wanting to learn about confidential computing. This use of mentor here means those of us who are on the TAC, who regularly attend the TAC, you don't have to be a voting member, help provide that connection to the leadership of the consortium on into the projects, and make sure that your projects are aware of these resources that are available to them. And maybe most of the names that I see on this list right now are not people who are currently at this meeting, which is maybe another reminder we need to rejigger what we're doing with connection from the TAC out to the projects. But for those of you who are connected to, whether it's Grameen, Veracruz, Verti, or what have you, please make sure that your projects are aware that we've got this support available to them. It would be a shame if we got to the end of the year and we hadn't made use of the resources that we've got available for the projects. Okay, and then we're speeding through the agenda pretty quick today. Might be able to get everybody onto the rest of their work for today pretty quickly, but I do want to dive into the schedule. So Ben, I think, has been scheduling out these project reviews that we saw on the other slide. We've also broken our work into 3 areas. And just slide up to an example of that up at the top, maybe? Nope. In the note for the agenda, I think Rhiannon actually organized these into the topic areas that we've got. But anyway, they amount to, let me go back to the scheduling slide here. So they amount to projects, ecosystem engagement, and community development. So these are the three areas that we've all agreed, we're going to put our emphasis into. So at the end of the year, we know that we're able to do something substantive in each of those. And for the voting members on the TAC, so these are from the premier companies like Microsoft, Google, and so forth that you saw on the one of the first slides in the deck here. Each of us has taken responsibility for one of these areas, and we want to start filling out this schedule so that people can plan their work and be able to come in with material prepared for the next session. So I'll be asking Ben to help connect with the other TAC members and get you guys scheduled into this list. Any questions on that? So we've got these TAC goals written out on another Google Doc that I think people have access to, or it's in the minutes from previous sessions. So I won't go ahead and flash that up now. But you can go look at that if you like for more context on what we're looking to accomplish in each of those three areas for the projects, the ecosystem engagement, and our community development. The other recurring topic that we typically have is a tech talk, and we've fallen behind in building out that schedule. So some of the area of interest in the ecosystem engagement that we had was connecting with academia, with whether it's research projects going on at universities or other activities, and we want to be able to build out this schedule. One of the upsides of that for people who regularly attend the call is, hey, it's a nice little 30-minute class on something interesting that's happening in confidential computing or in some adjacent security realm with software. So looking for help to continue to build that out. We've got a couple areas that we go to in order to get some of these talks scheduled. I know what those are. I don't want to hit those wells too often though, so with the extended networks that we have of about 24 people on this call, it should be pretty easy to find interesting papers and researchers that are willing to come in and talk. And it doesn't have to only be academic. If you're working on a project within your company, ideally an open source project, but maybe not something that you've contributed into the CCC, you're still welcome to come and talk about what that is. Yeah, I think that pretty well covers the tech talk topic, which is always fun to say even when I'm not jet lagged. And thanks for the links in chat there to the TAC objectives. Okay, I think that is the end of the scheduled agenda topics. This is maybe the fastest form meeting that we've had so far. We do have time though if somebody else was planning to bring something up and didn't think that we had time. Okay, well, I think everybody can be welcome to get on with their day, which I assume is filled with other direct confidential computing contributions. And we'll stay engaged over the next 2 weeks before the next meeting and look forward to having some more fun things to talk about then.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Enjoy the jet lag then.
Thanks, Dan.
Merci.
Take care.